this computer. It's rolling. Yeah. What's up, y'all? It's another Trenton Talks interview, man. I'm here with
Quay
Quashawn.
Lane.
All right, man. I've been trying to get with Quay, man. I've watched Quay play since he was about 10 years old. And I gotta say, when we always debate about it, I feel like Quay was one of the best 11-year-olds I've ever seen. Like one of the greatest. Like Quay at 11 should be on 2K. Nah, no bullshit. I gotta gas you though, bro. You had an amazing career, still going since the beginning, bro. You've been doing great things. You was naturally gifted, and you worked. You also continued to work for it. You come from a family of that, even with your sister, so you've seen it early on. You knew how to play ball. Great family background. You know what I mean? Put you in the right programs, put you in the right positions early. But you worked, man. You worked. Even there was times where things got a little bit different, where you had to get stronger. You gotta, you know what I mean, you had to get bigger. But you continue to do whatever it took to elevate your game to get you where you are. So I just want to let the people know, man, this is he one of them ones, man. One of them ones. I was talking to somebody in the gym the other day. It was like it's like who you know overseas that's like really played like 2016 through 17, 18. I'm like, who you they like I'm like Quay Lane. They're like, who other than Jameer, who else is I'm like Quay. Nobody but a couple these is Trent High type dudes though. They don't really some know, but some don't know. Like so man, I just want to give you a chance to tell your story and let the kids continue to watch you do what you do. So
Most definitely, most definitely.
talk your shit a little bit.
Yeah, man. But Trenton, born and raised, straight from the heart of the city. Came up through Trenton, came up through all of the, parks, summer leagues, all of the inner city basketball community. Was a big part of that. Started off at Trenton Public School, PJ Hill. Um,
Went to
Went there.
PJ Hill.
Yeah, I did. I went PJ
You
Hill from
go.
like kindergarten to like
All right.
fourth grade, and then
Mm-mm.
after my fourth grade year, I transferred over to Trent Catholic, the lower school. Um,
Oh, so you've been at Trenton Catholic.
yeah, I was at Trent Catholic from fifth grade to I graduated high school.
Oh
Yeah,
wow, you was at Trenton Catholic early. Okay.
yeah. From Trent Catholic, went to University of New Haven, Division II, up in Connecticut, and stayed there for all 4 or 5 years because of COVID. The COVID thing happened during my college career, and yeah, been overseas since. Played in Germany right after college, and I went to New Zealand. Played in Germany and New Zealand,
It froze up on me.
and right now I'm in Ireland. So
Okay. Yeah, it froze up on me for a second. Hold on. You good? Hello? Quay. Yo, you here?
yeah, you can hear me.
Yeah, where it was glitching a little bit. All right, so let's rewind a little bit. So you at TCA lower school. You never had like any other temptations. Like people ain't come at you, come to the high. You ain't had even like middle school. Like people wasn't trying to get you over.
Definitely. Trent High is kind of like the heart of the city, kind of.
Yeah.
So all of my mom went to Trent High, all my aunts, basically all of my family. Besides my sister, she went to Trent Catholic as well. Um, so I definitely had people in your ear, come over, come play, come rep the high. And I won't lie, it would have been a fun experience.
Yeah.
I don't doubt that at all. But
What grounded you at at TCA? What made you say I'm staying here as a young lower school kid? What did you see?
I really, it was really the so when I first got to Trent Catholic, my sister was in high school already. Um, so I had that connection already, and I was just around
Hmm.
the high school kids because I would
Right.
be with my sister after school. I would stay with during their practice. I would watch their practice. I was the little brother who was shooting on the side always, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So through that, obviously I knew Fauci already. I already made that connection with Fauci, which was he was a part of the reason, you know, talking and getting into Trent Catholic along with my sister and everything.
Right.
I just seeing how the caliber of players, the caliber of talent, and also like the standards that they had.
Right.
And I felt as though I've seen people before me come in, go out, do great things in their basketball career, and that was really just what sold me. Thinking that like if I could somehow stay on the same path as them, I could definitely one day be living my dream and playing professional basketball.
And we seen the
And
dream
no
manifest,
doubt.
right?
Yes, sir.
So,
Yes, sir.
what about you in middle school? You playing? I'm assuming Trenton Catholic had a middle school team, but you also playing AAU, where I saw you at with T Town. How did you make the connection with T Town?
Brian Goss really. So, T Town was T Town and Team MVP. I don't know if you remember that.
Yes, I remember Team
They were
MVP.
like kind of like the two major middle school or lower school
Hmm.
AAU teams from the city,
Right.
and that was always a big rivalry. And my mom, I knew Brian Goss was T Town's like CEO, runner,
Hmm.
founder. So I made that connection early through Brian Goss, playing AAU. Really just playing at the Westward a lot, playing at the Westward, playing at the YMCA on Pennington, because that's where most of the teams would either T Town or Team MVP would normally practice, have their
Yeah.
tryouts, things of that nature. So, yeah, I met Brian Goss there, one of the most thorough people I ever met in my life. So, once my mom already knew him, so once we had that connection, it was all off from there.
How was your experience playing for them?
It was great, man. Like I met so many people in T Town, man. Like
Yeah.
some of my closest friends from the town came from that team. So
Yeah, that 11-year-old team, man, that was like one
yo,
one of the best teams I've seen. I actually was having an argument with Herbie the other day because we got not the other day, but we've been talking about this for a while.
yeah,
NPO has a or had a 11, 12-year-old team, and I was looking at them. I'm like, damn, they kind of remind me of like y'all, how y'all was, and we was kind of comparing, and I was like, but some everybody debates on what teams, some of the best teams they seen. But for me, for what I seen, I didn't see too many MVP teams, but
yeah.
I seen you, Reggie, Javade, what is I don't know if it was Quinn Rodrigue, right?
Oh,
What's his
Rodrigue,
name?
Nas, Dallin,
Danny.
Danny Bentley.
Yeah, just so we those
Uh,
at 11 was competing on a national level. Like where you see, they grabbed a bunch of 14-year-olds late, right? 14-year-olds, that's late in the game. You know what I mean? I
yeah,
was one of the 14-year-olds that got found on that team, 13-year-olds found on that team where they coaches always screaming, "Look at the 11-year-olds! They going to national." Get us hit. So after a while, you really start to watch them. I'm like, man, what's the hype of them? So when you really get to watching them, it's like, yo, these kids is really like that. Like they really,
yeah,
you know what I mean, doing different advanced things. So and it was well coached. Shout out to the B Goss. Also shout out to Marquis. It
right.
was well coached, well coached. Well trained in general. So that was one of the best teams I've seen at a young age. Like really, really, y'all was really, really good. And seeing basically like, well, you and Reggie kind of continue to play together in some aspects. I don't know if y'all was at TCA together, but I know he ended up
Yeah, it
at
was.
Perk. He ended up at Perk, you know,
Yeah,
and everybody kind of went their separate ways. But Rodrigue, you might have played with Rodrigue later, right?
I played Rodrigue. Yeah,
Yeah, so Rodrigue. So you still run into the same people in high school and at some point, but
hmm
yeah. So that was you know, how did that impact playing at a national level at 11? How does that impact your confidence moving forward through middle school and then getting ready for high school?
it's definitely a big boost, right? So, you know, playing against some of the best, I guess, 11-year-olds in the country or in the state, or the best competition period for your age group is always going to propel you, right? Is always
Mhm.
going test your confidence, test your game, test every aspect of it. And the fact that we were um, really highly touted at that age, but um, we also like stayed relevant. Like we would beat some of the better teams. We would
Hmm.
beat some of the ranked teams. So like, just being in that environment, being in that, in those games, being in those situations, I think definitely it gives you a little bit of grit, it gives you a
Yeah,
lot of confidence, because you can see, we work on your game every day and it's a tournament every weekend, right? So,
yeah,
we making it to the semifinals, the championship game every weekend,
yeah,
right? So, it definitely gives you a big boost because all these at that age, b-ball spotlight,
yeah,
the blogs from that, their
yeah.
tournaments was like
Shout out B-Ball
marquee tournaments.
Spotlight.
Yeah, shout out b-ball spotlight, but their tournaments at that age was like the marquee, like that was the highlight.
Yeah,
Every time it was a b-ball spotlight tournament, you could
yeah.
guarantee that it was going to be some of the best teams on the East Coast there, right?
Do you remember like some of the players that you like? You know how some people like remember certain people that became pros or certain people you played against at a young age or even just ended up really good in high school. Do you remember any names that you had to guard?
Uh, from in that age, yeah, I remember. So we played. Team Izod was one of them, and they had Javon Quinterly, Nas Reed, Lou King.
So you was playing them at that age.
Yeah, we played. We ran against them.
You was playing JQ at 11.
Pretty much. Yeah.
That's crazy.
What was it? We Are One.
Who
They had
they
a bunch
had?
of Delaware guys, more to speak, Delaware Philly guys,
Yeah.
which I really didn't really run into outside of AU mostly.
Mhm.
Um, but I remember who did they have? It was this one guard. He was so tough to me. He was like super short, super. He was fake stocky for our
Yeah.
age. Quick, like I think his name was Donovan Tolley. I'm not sure if he was on We Are One or DC Premier or
Mhm.
Maryland 3D Stars. Like it was a bunch of teams we ran into. So like a lot of times I catch myself like seeing familiar faces and I'm like, I remember you from these one of these programs.
Yeah, you're
So
like I played against you.
definitely, yeah. So
Yeah.
that always happens a lot. But I would probably say the most notable names, just because they all from Jersey, was probably that team I was at
Team
team.
I was playing against Nas Reed. Was Nas Reed tall back then? Was he?
Yeah,
He was been
yeah,
tall.
yeah. He been
But he
tall.
but could he dribble? Like he
He's definitely a lot. Obviously, he's a lot better now, but he was just a lot bigger than everybody,
hmm
and he always had the shot. He was always jelly fam, so he could always finish around the room. So like, he was definitely a matchup nightmare for 11-year-olds and 12-year-olds for sure.
So take it to high school now. Right. How was the high school experience? You at TCA, people head hunting. Mally and
Yeah.
Miles is gone, right? Now you got
Nah, my first year they was there.
your first year you was there.
Yeah, my freshman year it was their senior year.
Okay. So now you got that breeding process, right? But let's talk more about after they gone, because that's when, you starting to get your touches. But even like what was your experience like watching them play or even getting to practice against them,
Yeah, I
seeing the
think
things they did?
practice every day was to me like a highlight. Like that was what I look forward to just because, I knew we had D1 professional guys in the program, right? So, that's where you want to aspire to be. I'm a freshman at this time, so that's where I want to aspire to be in 3 years, my senior year coming around. Like I want to be a college, high acclimated player, a high touted player. So just going at each other, man, and making each other better. It definitely helped me
Hmm.
and it showed me, just that next level, right? So as a freshman, I was playing freshman a lot, and then I played sprinkled in a little bit of JV. Um, but I didn't get no varsity minutes, but I always practiced with the varsity team.
Right. But people
So
don't realize where it's like freshman and JV at TCA is like now just like you know what I'm saying. You're at TCA, so it's
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
it ain't like you just a regular freshman player. You just happen to be behind two guys. One that's a McDonald's All American. Like I remember when I first got to TCA in my experience, they had like this is like 2011, 2010. They had 11 Division 1 guys. Like literally, it was Division 1 guys playing around on JV. So I
Mm-hmm.
just want to like make that they paint that picture like when you say playing, yeah, I'm just playing freshman because like it's a different atmosphere, right?
Yeah.
At TCA where you have a guy that's just windmilling on JV just for fun for 2 quarters, right? And now that's now now that pushes there's players that's freshmen that should be playing JV, right?
Yeah,
That now
most
have
definitely.
to play freshman. Now you have
Have
because you have to play freshman now because there's people playing JV that shouldn't be playing JV. So it changes the entire totem, right? So
Mhm.
so but even in that sense, we all know like playing is where you get better. So you want anyone to play any like if you gotta play freshman, play you gotta play freshman. But
Yep.
that didn't really dictate like where you was at that time. You get what I'm
Mhm.
saying?
Yeah, like you
That's
said, I
just
mean, we had a lot of good great players, man, come through TCA. So like, it was definitely tough to be a freshman and get on that varsity team. But
yeah, it wasn't no joke.
I was definitely grateful to be able to, I was there every day. I was putting in extra work, getting up extra shots. I was always grinding, man. I was always
Yeah.
behind them and watching how they attacked every day, watching how they attacked their drills, and just trying to my best to replicate that in a sense that could get me better, that could help my
Hmm.
game, improve my game. So, like you said, like playing on freshmen, obviously you want to play JV coming as, or you want to play varsity coming in
Yeah.
as a freshman, but like that wasn't
Yeah.
realistic. So, I had to
Yeah.
I had to go into freshman games, and I could say I dominated freshman league, bro. Like I dominated those games, like, and I just think that just playing with those guys, being in their shadow, if you will, it just definitely helped me, inspired me, and
Right.
definitely motivated me for sure.
Right. So as far as your game, right, from middle school to high school, now let's go to your starting varsity player. What's different from Quay now starting varsity and your skill set, this guy versus the 11-year-old, 12-year-old that was just playing nationally? Like what developed the most by high school?
I think my knowledge for basketball, right? So I'm at 11 and 12. I mean, you got some type of foundation. I think
Hmm.
my coaches did a great job of building that. But thinking the game, in all aspects, didn't come around until high school, right? So, and I credit that to Fauci, Donnie, coaching staff there at Trent Catholic, has always been pivotal in developing players to be able to play in college. That's the biggest thing. Like, you want to come in, you want to take your skills, and you want to be able to implement that and become a college basketball player. So, I think my biggest progression from then to there was basically just learning the game, figuring out how to score without the ball, figuring out how to get other teammates open, figuring
Right.
out how defenses rotate, how they're going to switch, how they're going to play.
Reading the
And just,
help.
yeah, just not even worry about your initial defender, just seeing the
Reading
whole
the
flow.
help. And I like let's touch on that for a little bit because I honestly feel like that's where you start to tell a varsity player, right? Or even different levels of varsity, because there's some varsity players you'll see that still can't do that, right?
Mm,
But being able to read the help defender, like there's a lot of guys, he'll beat their man, and they don't even see the help. So now that's a
mm,
steal at the next level. Whereas sitting in three guys sitting in help, right? Two guys sitting in help, one guy sitting in help. But now it just adds up, right? You go from one guy in help, or you go from beating your guy and you got an easy layup to you beating your guy, somebody reach. To beating your guy, somebody reach, and he's able to still block it, and he has a defender sitting there. So
mm.
what advice can you give to players to kind of just figure that out? Because I be trying to tell some people, I be wanting to just put the film up. Like, how didn't you see him?
I think the thing that really helped me was looking at it from a defensive standpoint. I feel as though I was always preached that the defense 5 players got to be on like a string, right? So
Yeah.
when the ball moves, everyone should move to a certain position or a certain spot adjusted to the ball, right?
Hmm.
So when you think of it that way, then you can imagine that, once you beat your defender, if the defense is what it should be, if the defense is working optimally,
Hmm.
someone should be there and help. Someone should be there behind him. It's 4 other
Hmm.
players on the court, so it should be some type of rotation.
Right.
And I think the biggest thing for me was just seeing that rotation and seeing those type of patterns develop before they happen,
Mm.
um, or knowing that they're going to happen. If I
Right.
decide to go baseline, I know that it's going to be help coming from the baseline.
Hmm.
So it's a good chance that the opposite corner should be open or the opposite wing should be open, like stuff like that. I think was the best thing that I picked up, but I think I looked at it from that defensive aspect of everyone has to be on a string. So if
Yeah.
everyone's on the string, once you move the string, everyone should move.
Hmm. And then you can learn how to manipulate it, right? And now
Yes.
it just turns into chess. And I think that's the biggest thing from middle school to high school is learning how to play chess on the basketball court. By college, you got to be good at chess.
Yes.
High school, you just damn near learning how to play. Like, but
Yeah.
college, you learning how to play chess. The people who learn how to be good at it in high school, now you can see they are who they are. They dominant at it. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? And there are some folks who IQ was a little low, but they like their talent was able to jump out of certain situations. Right? I see some guys who just able to just manipulate their way out of situations because they're so talented. Right? Whereas if you lack that super athletic ability, you can't jump out of everything. You have to literally strategically move, or you can't speed your way out of everything, right? So we see that in high school, or you see that in middle school, where guys were getting away with things in middle school that they don't get away with in now in high school, right? Things that even the guys that was just a little bigger, right? So that's the big change from middle school to high school, where you'll see a guy, damn, he was nasty in middle school, but now in high school, he's an average guy because the game is advancing. The levels, the minds is changing, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Definitely evens out for sure.
yeah. So how was your senior year experience before we get to college? You know, you and a couple guys you was with.
Yeah, it was great. I mean, I think senior year was very fun for me. Um, we made it to the non-public B. I want to say semifinals.
Okay.
So we made a deep playoff run. Um, Obviously the Mercer County tournament was in the finals. I think that's the year we lost to Nottingham or something. Um, but yeah, that whole year, man, was just super fun. I was playing with all of my friends that I came up with in high school. We was all like the older kids of the team. So like we was all like the first five, essentially the
Yeah.
first 10 guys. So, just being in that environment, being with your brothers, man, it was great. I have no complaints about my high school senior year at all.
All right. We're gonna have to skip college for now. You know, we on our part two. We're gonna get to college. Right now, I want you to talk about overseas. What's that like? And what was the process like after after your senior year of college, or even talk about a little bit about your senior year of college, and then finding an overseas scout.
Yeah, so my senior year of college was a great year actually. I was first team all region. Um I had numerous accolades, all region accolades, first team all league. Um I think my numbers was probably the best my senior year. We as a team, we pretty much had a very good year. We lost in the conference finals, I believe, but we ended up winning the NCAA tournament.
Oh,
Our side of it, yeah. So I ended up
okay.
going to the Elite Eight, D2 Elite Eight, which was in Indiana.
Oh
So that was
wow.
an amazing experience to be a part of that. That was actually the first Elite Eight appearance in our school history. So that was another accolade to
Mm,
add on to the things. Uh, But yeah, I had a very good senior year in college. Senior
That's
year
a
was
deep run.
yeah, it was great. It was everything clicked that year for me for sure. And then after that, I just had finding an agent was kind of tough because you want to. I feel like for me, my biggest thing was picking somebody that I was comfortable with, that I knew. I didn't just want to just sign anybody and everybody. So I was looking at a few different agencies, but I ended up settling on a ACD agency, which was agency based out of South Jersey. They had connections with RJS, Ricky Sullivan.
Oh yeah, run,
So
jump, shoot.
yeah, which is based out of South Jersey as well. So he was one of my longtime trainers since like middle school as well.
Shout out to RJS, man.
Shout out to him. So once I made that connection there, I ended up signing with Chris Gala, who is my who represents me in that agency. And from there, it was once I got the agent picking the agent part out of the way, it was essentially just waiting until something came through. I had my highlights. They put me up on their website. They do all the things that they supposed to do.
Yeah,
I kind of stayed out of that because I didn't want to get my head too wrapped up into like the politic side of things. I just wanted to work on my game. Stay
yeah.
in the gym, make sure I'm ready
What did
whenever.
you work on before you went overseas? What did you want to add to your game to prepare for the pros?
I think a big thing I tried to work on was my conditioning. Right, so in college, every level, the pace is different. Right, so from middle school to high school, from high school to college, from college to pros, everything is like faster. Actions are faster, people are more athletic, things of that nature. So um I think my biggest thing I wanted to work on was really my endurance. Obviously my body, I stayed in the gym,
Mhm.
wanted to stay strong, stay fit, stay ready. But as far as the on court stuff, just I think the technical stuff, making sure I get up thousands of shots a day, making sure the craft work, make sure I'm sharp, handling, reading, finishing, um, creating getting into my one-on-one bag. I like to work on my game in all aspects.
Mhm.
Left hand, right hand, post moves, mid range threes, everything you could think of on the basketball court. I like to work on and touch. So that was really what that first summer before my pro season was about. Was really just the technical skills and staying
Yeah.
sharp and trying to be ready. Essentially, yeah.
You always was a good shooter. But how important and how necessary is it in today's era to be able to shoot?
I think it's probably one of the top a game. You can start there. Everyone shoot threes.
Mhm.
From the first guy on the roster list to the last guy on the roster list, everyone can shoot the three, right? So knowing that, you definitely got to be a sound shooter. Like that's important. I'm a point guard. I'm a guard, so that's even more of an priority for us.
Mhm.
Being able to read and being able to create shots and being able to play behind screens and shoot the three or shoot the mid range pull up if the big man's in drop or
Have you
so.
worked on how have what's your mindset on as far as how far you want to shoot it out?
Uh, what you mean, like
Like
deep
how
threes?
yeah,
My mindset really is just when if my feet is set,
is up.
it's up.
Do
You
you feel
know?
like you got to be rolling, or you feel like you could be the first play of the game and you'll let that shit go?
See, I feel like my mentality changed a little, right? So I was I got to get a couple assists, get a layup here, get myself going, and then I'll be like, all right, I'm rolling now. We could bombs away.
Hmm.
But now I feel like you could kind of use that first shot to gauge, right? So like
Yeah,
the first shot really doesn't really matter what kind of shot it is. It doesn't really matter if it goes in or not.
right.
But you use that first shot to say, okay, all right, I need to do this. Maybe my hand movement was off. Maybe I
Right.
need to put the ball here.
No
Think of that.
legs,
Yeah. So
no shit like that. Bro.
always look at that first shot now. I mean, now I do as a gauger essentially. So if it's the first 5 seconds of the game and I feel like the defender is too far off of me, I'm gonna shoot it.
Respectfully,
And I
respectfully.
feel like that's the mindset you gotta have, right? Because you want the defense to play honest. You want them to
Hmm.
respect you, respect your shot.
Right.
So if they know you gonna shoot that at any point in the game, now you
It
kind of got them at your will.
And I feel like that's the biggest change that people have accepted, like, and that's the hardest people to guard, right? You got to guard somebody who's quick, can dribble, can shoot 30 feet out. That change in basketball, which is why people think, man, they're not playing any defense. No, they are playing defense. It's just that
It's
it's
just
like, what do you do?
it's different. It's just different. It's different now. Yeah.
Right. To close it out, man, can you give some advice to some young high school, college kids coming up, even middle school coming up?
um, I would say my biggest advice is just stay in the gym. Stay in the gym. Stay working on your craft. No one can ever be a perfect basketball player, right? So there's always room to improve.
Right.
Even if you feel like your 3 point is your strongest aspect of your game, the best shooters in the world shoot 40%, 45%,
Hmm.
43% from three, which means they missing the other 60% of the time. Right. So if you look at it like that, my the biggest thing for me growing up was just definitely just staying in the gym, stand on my grind. You definitely want to surround yourself with people who are kind of on the same mission as you, on the same grind as you, because you don't want to get sidetracked. It's easy to get sidetracked, coming from where we from.
Right.
It's easy to be a basketball player one day and something else the next, right? So um, I feel like the biggest thing for me, the biggest advice I could give is just if you really want to do this, if you really want to, live out your dreams, or even, everybody dream ain't to make it pro. Everybody, it could be even just to go to college for free. That's an accomplishment in itself, bro. That is an amazing accomplishment. So if you want to use this game for that, I would definitely recommend just staying in the gym, staying locked in, staying working on your game, because that's what's the work gonna show, and that's what's gonna propel you. Like we was talking about, some kids might be bigger now, might not have the game, might not have the everything evens out, and you can feel yourself. You'll feel yourself if you put in enough work, bro. You'll feel yourself surpassing a lot of your friends, a lot of the competition. Like the game will become easier
Hmm.
in a way. So, my biggest advice for sure is just definitely just stay down, man. Stay on your grind. Stay in the gym for sure.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, man. Tell us your Instagram, man. A lot of people don't know your Instagram. We gotta run your Instagram up.
Nah, fact. It's TG underscore 1K Koi. QUA.
What's that stand for?
What?
TG.
TG. So basically that was TG and 1K came both in high school. It was a two separate group of friends.
Okay.
Um and we was just like that
All
was just
right.
what we went by. That was our little
Yeah.
name, and it really stuck,
Yeah.
and to this day, I'll probably never change it, honestly. Like those are I could call some of those people right now, some of my closest friends. So, you
Right.
know, that's more of a brotherhood thing than anything for real.
I respect that. All right, man. When's the next game? And how do we find your live stream?
So in Ireland, you could go on Basketball Ireland, but I think they have like you gotta pay for the
Where
season. That was really the first country that I've experienced that with. So
we'll
um
we'll support. We gotta stay in the loop. I need some highlights.
Facts, facts, facts.
I
But
need
yeah,
some highlights.
Basketball Ireland. If you look that up, I mean, you could find your way on how to support on or how to find the live streams and stuff.
All right. All right, man. Keep doing your thing, man. We watching and we gonna keep up with you on Trenton Talk Sports, man.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it.
All right, signing out.
Yes, sir.